So before we left, we were going to talk about Asheville and your move.
Yep.
So one of the questions with that is, in what ways do you think Western North Carolina is supportive or challenging for LGBTQ plus individuals?
Good question for sure. You know, when I decided to move here, and I thought, well, it is Western North Carolina, and the good thing is you're in the blue bubble in Asheville. So that made me very happy that at least I knew that. And I also said, you know, it's a hippie town, so people are going to be more friendly, kind, not judgmental and everything. You know, and I was warned, you go 30 minutes outside of Asheville and you got a whole nother culture going on, and that was fine. When I first moved here, you know, it's interesting because I'm moving from big towns, Atlanta and Fort Lauderdale into Asheville. And I was like, okay, well, there's not going to be as much to do. I got to change how my life is and everything. And the one thing I found, you know, we still had several bars here, not as many as they used to have apparently, but we still had several bars. But there was just something lacking in community. You can go to a bar and a lot of times you can't talk to people because the music's so loud or whatever. One of the first things I did, even before I moved here, I had researched the Asheville Gay Men's Chorus because I had been in the gay chorus in Fort Lauderdale, and I loved singing. So I joined the chorus when I first moved here as a way to get to know people. And all of a sudden, you know, a typical Butch, I'm so involved. I'm the president of the board, and, you know, I'm raising money and all this stuff that I do. And I'm taking the Asheville Gay Men's Chorus, you know, to the first time they were in Dining Wortham Theater, and we sold out the whole place. Big accomplishment. Very proud of that. During that, I was approached by someone who said, hey, I'd like to start a bowling league. And I thought, how fun. I used to love to go bowling and everything. Let's start a gay bowling league now. Boom. Next thing you know, I'm all involved in starting a gay bowling league in Asheville. And it still goes to this day. I still see some of the original people that helped me start it, or I was helping them really. And it's a wonderful thing because what I was doing, I was creating community, bringing people together from different facets that maybe had never met each other or were only in the chorus, but all of a sudden maybe they came out to go bowling or something like that. Or
they all have a common interest.
They all have a common interest in some way. Next thing I knew, you know, Tina Madison White, the old executive director for Blue Ridge Pride, she was gnawing at my feet, wanting me to come get involved with them. And I said, well, Tina, you know, I'm helping do the chorus and everything. I don't have time right now, but I'm probably going to retire from that in a bit. And she said, the moment you retire, it wasn't even a month before I left the Gay Men's Chorus, and Tina was on my heels, and we met for coffee. Next thing you knew, there I am at Blue Ridge Pride, sitting on the board. Next thing you know, I'm vice president. Next thing you know, I'm president. Next thing you do, I'm starting programs with Tina. And, you know, it's typical Butch, you know, tell me you want something and I'm going to overdo it.
And burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah, all the time. And it was during that time that I really did realize I was burning that candle at both. I was getting, you know, as proud as I was of the work we were doing, I was doing Blue Ridge Pride work 50, 60 hours a week. These are not paid. These are volunteer hours. And I was burning out really bad. I'd always had this idea of starting my own nonprofit organization. It's when Butch Out started. And people were like, why Butch Out? Well, I'm Butch and I'm out. Made pretty much sense to me, and it just sounded like a good catch. Yeah, it's catchy. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to start it. And really the thought was, let's make a nonprofit organization that raises awareness and funding for other organizations. I don't need the money. I have the time to do stuff. I'm retired. Let me do something that gives back to the community once again. So lo and behold, you know, I had this idea coming from Atlanta and Fort Lauderdale. I love Sunday tea dances. And I missed that time of camaraderie. I missed the music too. Whenever I'd walk into that 80s disco music, I'd be like, these are my people.
Right.
You know, so I ended up approaching you and Benji and saying, you know, what do y'all think about this? And I'm like, well, we'll give it a whirl, you know, see how it goes. I'm like, well, we want to do this one Sunday. You know, it's 3 hours, one Sunday a month. And Lord, that's almost, well, it's been over 6 years now. Yep. Over 6 years, we've raised over $45,000.
See, that's amazing. That is amazing.
It's amazing when you reach out to people, and I don't charge to get into a tea dance.
Right.
I take donations.
Right.
But it's amazing when people start to know you and trust you with what you're doing. You know, I select a different beneficiary every single month of the year. We repeat some of them. We don't repeat some of them. We bring in new people. You know, I'm excited. We're bringing in Asheville Humane Society this month in September. And it's a great thing. And what it did, as I stand back and I look at it now, it's cannonballed all these other things that happen in Asheville now for the gay society. You know, we now have a Friday social that takes every Friday night. You can find at least 40 to 50 more men, women hanging out, just socializing, talking, not having to be overdrowned by the music of a bar. You know, we have Takeover Tuesdays.
Right.
You know, now you've got the square dancing going on at the bar. And the Bears have created their own events and everything. And I love, you know, I'm not the creator of all those things, but I'm kind of the catalyst for a lot of that as I see it. And I'm very proud to be that person that helped to start bringing community to Asheville. We all know that when, you know, we're in high school, we're in college, whatever, we have cliques of people that we hang out with. And we don't.
Unfortunately, it's still there.
It's still there.
It's still there. And it's still here.
And it's still here. And it always will be, because we're drawn to people of like interest.
Right.
What I love about this is people like to be around people. So that's their like interest. They want to get to know you. They want to know who you are as a person. They're not there to pick you up.
Right.
You know, as a date or whatever. They're there to enjoy and learn more about each other. We are so fortunate here in Asheville that we have brought together so many people from around the world in this city, and it's so vibrant and so rich and full of stories and full of laughter. And, you know, it's not always great. We all struggle in the society.
Which leads me to a question.
Yeah.
That, you know, have you personally encountered any specific moments of acceptance or discrimination here that stand out to you?
There's been a couple of times that I feel like I've been discriminated, and it's not been because of being gay or associated with it. It's been because of AIDS.
Okay.
You know, we see that a lot now, you know, well, you're dirty. You heard that a lot in the beginning. You still hear stigma is still very much alive in the world, and it's very much still alive in the HIV community.
That is so sad. I would have thought that people would have been more educated, or would have been more educated at this point with that. And there are breakthroughs all the time. You know, PrEP was something that I know that I see a lot of movement about that, which I don't know about it because
we're fortunate to have PrEP. We didn't have that, you know, back then. We didn't know anything back then. And now you have it. You know, you guys can take it and you're fine. You don't have to get HIV.
Right. Well, I think my point was that you still get that discrimination. You still get that stereotype, even though this is something like something that you'll always have, but you can live with, right? Yeah. Is it something that now you're healthy with it? You know, before in the early 80s, they had no clue where it was going to go, what it was going to do, how it was even happening. But now they know exactly what they need to do in order for you to be a healthy, vibrant person.
And that's why, you know, when I tell my story, HIV is not at the top anymore.
Right, good. Yeah,
but it is still very much a part of my story, because I still need people to understand you don't have to live like it was. You don't have to die like we did. You don't have to experience all that stigma if you don't want. Purpose, educate people. Take the opportunity to educate them. Yeah, you can get mad if somebody's, you know, stigmatizing you or whatever. Right. Use that as an opportunity.
I mean, it's just like a low punch. You know, somebody just is reaching for something to swing at you with. Well, so I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. Yeah. That was bullshit, I think.
It is bullshit, you know. But it's part of society, unfortunately. You know, we become a little bit more cruel in society sometimes, and so we go low.
Right.
Or people go low, because that's where they find comfort in then being higher than you.
Right.
And
that's right, which
you
is
know,
sad, and it's sad for them too because they feel like that's their trump.
yeah,
That's their trump card, and very sad.
yeah,
But that was the thing in Asheville. That was the thing here, was the discrimination part with the
yeah,
HIV.
yeah. And, it still goes on. It's not as prevalent. That's why I've become much more involved with WNCAP, Western North Carolina
Mm-hmm.
AIDS Project, because we recognize that it's still out there.
Right.
And unfortunately, with all the decreased funding that we're going through now in this country, WNCAP has become a very special project to me, and I'm trying to do everything I can to help raise more funding and awareness.
Right.
Which is, kind of where I'm going next with Butch Out. And, I've been raising money. That's good. I know how to raise money. I want to start raising some awareness about things. I always try to raise awareness about whatever beneficiary we're supporting each month that we do a tea dance, invite them to table, spread their message on social media.
Right.
But there's a little bit more now that's been gnawing at me about what more can I do as a gay man. We all have identifiers. I'm a gay male. That's just who I am. That's how I identify. Mm-hmm. And I'm comfortable with that. I never claimed the word queer back in the old times, as I say, because it was not a term that was good.
Right.
And so I never claimed it. So, I struggle sometimes with the reclaiming that word. I never claimed it. So how am I going to reclaim it?
Right. Some of this stuff that gets confusing to me.
Yeah.
I'm just confused. For some easily confused.
First and foremost, I'm a human being.
Right.
And that's what matters the most in life, is just being human and kind and compassionate and trusting and giving and all those things. So
that goes right back to that list. I like that list better. I like that. Those identifiers should be first.
Yeah. So I'm proud of where I've been. I'll turn 65 this year. I still got plenty of kicking to do. God, I don't think my grandmother lived to be 103. I don't know if I want to go there or not, but who knows?
Maybe but if you do, you're going to be busy.
If I do, I'll be busy doing something. That's for damn sure.
So how do you find support? Socially, emotionally, or otherwise in your daily life?
It's amazing when you start to surround yourself with people who are family. We often talk about as gay people, our chosen family. I chose them to be my friends, but they might as well be my blood brother, my sister, my cousin, whatever. I mean, it's beautiful. I've never had a community like I feel I have in Asheville. I've had friends, I've had groups of friends, but here it's a special bond that we all share. That it's nice when you have somebody you feel like, I could call them at 3:30 in the morning, not because I'm in jail, just because I'm really, really, really sad and I need to talk to somebody. And they're going to be there for you. Right. They're going to listen. They're going to hear. They're not going to judge you for what you have to say. Those are the people that I want to always surround myself with. Those are the people that I want other people to surround themselves with. That's true family in every sense of the word.
Right.
I reach out, I'm not scared to ask people, businesses, organizations for help. I'll say, this is what I need. If you can give it to me, if you can help me, that's great. If you can't, I understand your restrictions or whatever it is, we'll move on. We'll find somebody else. More often than not, people are willing to help in some way and form. We're so often so scared to ask people for help. I know you and I and many people, we've lost people to suicide because they didn't feel they could reach out for help. And that is just so hard to swallow when you lose somebody because they didn't reach out, because they were scared. They didn't think anybody would understand.
Right.
We need to become more trusting as individuals of those people around us. And that's what makes you keep on going then, is you've got something to share. You've got a friend to lean on. This is a great place. I will never leave Asheville. It's a wonderful city. It's a beautiful place. We have beautiful people. We're growing, and we're becoming even more community. As diverse as our country may become, I feel like here we're still finding that diversity is the key to enrichment. We're blessed. We're blessed by being here.
I agree. And the people here, and I was going to say that in my heart and with my experiences in this life,
Mm-hmm.
I sincerely believe that people are good.
I agree with
I
you
really
completely,
do.
Scotty.
I really do. We have to give them a platform, and we have to give them the opportunity to be good.
Yeah.
And they
Too
will.
often we want to jump up and yell.
Mm-hmm. But
And sometimes it's perfectly fine to yell. You need to yell. But more of the times we need to listen
right.
and respond in a way that we each are respectful of each other. I may not agree with abortion, or I may agree with abortion, but that's my own personal opinion. That doesn't give me a right to cram it down your throat, whatever it is.
Right.
Like, this whole thing about being gay now or transgender and everything. Don't use those as excuses to throw people out of society.
Right.
That's just wrong.
Right.
How are you ever going to learn if you keep on throwing people away?
Right. True. 100% true. I love every bit of it. I think that's really, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
So is there anything else about your experience as a gay man that you want to share?
I often think, I remember when I was young and people would try to talk to me as an older gay man, giving me life lessons and this, and I'd be like, okay, sure, whatever, and, we're all young at one point and we don't want to listen to, hell, we didn't want to listen to our parents a lot of times. But I just hope people can look and see by what people do. Your actions speak volumes. You can speak words all the time, but your actions are always going to show people who you are, what you believe in. And I think it was Maya Angelou that said, people will forget all this and that, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Absolutely.
And I believe that is the crux of it all. And I want to leave people with feeling of, he's a nice guy. I like him.
I think you're on the right track. I think you're good.
I'm trying to stay on the right track.
What advice would you give what would the younger Butch give to the LGBTQ plus community?
Try not to pay attention to so many labels. We get caught up in those, and I get you want to be around your clique or people with similar interests, but we get so caught up in labeling everything these days. We're continuing to segregate even more.
Yep.
Segregation is not a good thing. It never was. It never will be.
Right.
And so keep your options open. Keep your eyes open. Listen to people. Engage people. You young people have so much power now to change really the world. All of these generations before us helped to change it to where we are. Some good, some bad, but we've all still got power to do it. And the younger people, you're in the hip moment, of your life, and cherish that, but then make it worthwhile. Do something good for humanity.
I think that's great. And so that to me would be a daily affirmation.
Oh, totally.
Like, this is the way I want to live. This is the way that I want to be. And it would make me happy. Like, I'm happier that way when I know that I'm benefiting somebody else. I'm helping somebody else. So
I live by this mantra. I'll just let you know.
Yeah.
I cannot do all the good the world needs, but the world needs all the good I can do.
I love it. I think that should
Try
be
to
on
think
a
of that
t-shirt
every morning.
That would be great.
Yeah.
So, Butch, I want to, obviously, this has been a lot of personal information, things that you want to share, your personal experience here with, beginning to now, moving to Asheville. And we're certainly glad that you're here. But I want to give this, however long it takes to you to explain what your plan is with our show, with this production, and see,
Yeah, I welcome that opportunity. I've been thinking about this for a while. We call this our voices, our stories, because as individuals, we all have a voice and we have plenty of stories. The one thing that I am increasingly concerned about as I grow older is that we're not capturing those stories. And in particular, we're not capturing those stories from the gay males. So when I sat down and thought about this, I thought this aligns with my mission at Butch Out of bringing awareness to communities and of that. So, like I said, we're preserving the history with our voices, our stories. We're looking to preserve the history of gay men living in Western North Carolina. There's so much rich culture. There's so much to tell. There's so much that needs to be spread and shared amongst our community. We all have something to share. We all have something to give each other. So I want to be able to produce this along with you and get this out there. Who knows where we're going to go with it?
It's going to be out. We're going to get the things that people need to hear.
Yeah.
Somebody may look at a podcast or a video and be like, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. And it's very important that, it is available for people.
Yeah, it is because, just like I was saying earlier, I know I didn't always want to listen to the adults or anything like that. So maybe just by putting this out there online or something, you're going to sit and maybe you just listen to it for 5 minutes, but maybe you get something out of it. Maybe you share it with somebody. Right. And I invite people to get in touch with me, butchout@hotmail.com, butchout.org. You can write me. I invite you. Come and let's share. We're going to do oral histories. We're going to do video histories. We're going to do audio. We're going to do all kinds of things with this. And we want people to know that they're welcome to share their stories. We're going to edit them probably because, some of us like me can talk forever. But it's a great opportunity to get this out there, to preserve this rich, rich history that we have in this area of our country. We're from all over the world, as I said earlier, too.
And also with that, you're safe in this building. You're safe here.
Exactly.
In front of this mic, in front of this camera, you are safe.
Yes. We will do these videos. You can do a video. You can just do audio if you're concerned about your anonymity.
Absolutely.
I understand in these days and times, it can be very challenging for people. But I want to hear from the people. I want to hear from the gay men who have suffered from addictions, who have come out of the closet at the age of 50 and had to tell their adult children that they were now coming out of the closet and how that affected all of their lives. I want to hear from the people who were young and getting married and starting a family now, because those are the opportunities you have. We never had when I was younger as a gay man.
Right.
So kudos to y'all. And let me know. We want to hear from you.
All the good stories. All the bad stories.
Yeah.
We want to hear it all because we want to be able to tell your story. Because it's important.
You're a diverse community. You deserve
Thank you
to be
so
heard.
much, Butch.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
I couldn't do this without you.
Oh, you could.
Yeah,
You're so
maybe.
busy. You could.
I don't know how to work a camera.
Apparently, I don't either. All right. Till next time.
Till next time. We'll see you soon.
All right.